My name is Peter Anderson. Thank you so much for listening. This is Q&A. My good friend and videographer Herman is right in front of me.
Hello.
Yeah. So I don't know what these questions are, although Herman just told me that these are questions that some of you actually asked us on TikTok, which I'm really excited to answer, and we'll see where we go.
How do you communicate an issue of addiction that you see in your spouse?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think if you see the addiction, then it's probably true that your spouse also knows that they are addicted as well. So the first question is, how insightful are they to the addiction? So there's a difference between insight and judgment. So insight is, okay, I know that I have a problem. Judgment is, I not only know that I have a problem, I know that I probably need to do something about it. So the first thing I would say is, how high or where is your partner's insight and judgment to the addiction? Because that's going to determine how you talk about it, when you talk about it, how effective your communication is going to be. So if your partner's like not insightful at all and their judgment is also very, very poor, you're probably going to need more of a community response. In other words, I'm kind of old school on this, like having your friends and your family kind of coming together and saying, look, we love you and we really want to be able to help you. Believe it or not, that still is very effective. But if your partner's insight and judgment are actually really high and they know that not only do they have a problem, but they also they know that they need to stop, then I would see a counselor right away, but also make sure that you identify this as a comorbidity in the sense that it's going to be very difficult to work on the relationship while your partner continues to have this addiction problem. And also see if you can try to redirect them toward more attention between the two of y'all. It's very important that you see a substance abuse counselor because they just understand substance abuse much more than just your average marriage therapist per se. They're going to know how addiction works, how it affects the brain, what you need to do also to not build this kind of codependent relationship, but for you to have proper boundaries in place, for you not to feel somehow guilty for maybe putting those boundaries in. So those are just all the things that I would just say. How high is the person's insight and judgment, where they are, is going to determine how effective your communication is going to be, but also like the goals moving forward.
The next question is, we are in a long-term relationship. We live together and have a son. I want to get married, but he is hesitant.
Yeah. Well, men, a lot of guys, that's not the first male. I'm laughing because it's like most guys are pretty hesitant. I don't know what it is about men, but it's just like, until you're literally like walking out the door saying, forget you, and I'm living my own life and you can do whatever you want. Sometimes that's like the only thing that wakes them up. So I just want to shake them sometimes. Men are just very physical in that way. What I mean by that, like sometimes we just don't get it. Until like we see the consequences of their actions. So if you want to commit, good for you. And if he's like Beyonce says, unwilling to put a ring on it, then basically tell him give him a timeline, give him an end, and say, look, I don't want to keep moving forward. If you're not willing to commit to this, and if you're not willing to commit to this, I just want to respect you. But I do, and if you don't necessarily want this, that's fine, but I need this, and because I need this, and you're not willing to compromise, I think it's best that maybe we separate, And I kind of think that he might come around. If not, then at least you held on to your boundary.
How do I get out of the roommate phase with my partner?
Oh, yeah, roommate phase. Yeah, I like to call roommate phases like Netflix couples, where I just basically go home, give my partner a kiss, lay down, watch Netflix, eat some dinner, and then go to bed. So yeah, that's what I'm going to assume, the roommate phase. Well, yeah, I think the roommate phase is just so common for a lot of people. First of all, I just want to thank you for actually being aware that this is a problem. So the first thing is try to find a definition of what are we doing. And so what you're asking is, there's no purpose, there's no sense of drive or symbol here, and why are we doing this? What are we doing, and how are we doing this? And so you're actually asking some pretty good existential questions, and I would say go with that. And I would then ask your partner, do you see that this is not necessarily the relationship that we signed up for? Are you happy? Because I'm not happy. Have a real honest conversation with them. I don't want to just be married to somebody who's my roommate. I didn't get into this for that. And if your partner has some insight on the relationship, I'm hoping that they can say, you know what, I don't really want that at all either. So right there, that's a good start. I would just say immediately identify the problem. I would say, again, this is an existential question, which I think is a very good question. Bring it up. And then after that, see if you actually are willing to change certain dynamics of your relationship as well. Because here's the things that I often see in relationships is like people are okay saying, yeah, I don't want this, but they're hesitant to like make certain changes that are necessary to actually change that. So are you willing to go on dates at least once a week? Are you willing to engage more in sex? Are you also willing to maybe put the kids secondary and make this person primary? Are you willing to maybe make some sacrifices in your own life? Because that's going to be a hard question for you. So first answer that question as well, and then also bring up that issue. But I think it's a great question. Good for you for actually noticing that. Yeah. Thanks again for listening. This is Question and Answer. If you would like to improve your relationship, please click on the link below. Basically for the cost of a copay or a fraction of the cost for a private session. We would love to help you improve your relationship right away with these courses. Thanks again for listening.